Bordering on Britishness is a large-scale project funded by the ESRC in the United Kingdom and with help from the Gibraltar government. It's looking at how Gibraltarian identity has changed over the 20th century, particularly focusing on the border, the role the border has had in creating a sense of identity in Gibraltar and changing attitudes towards Spain and the United Kingdom. So we're looking at quite a number of interviews, up to 400 people we hope to interview, some of them as old as 100 years old, others of course much younger. And what we are finding already in our project is that in the early part of the 20th century, Gibraltarians were overwhelmingly Spanish-speaking. There was really very little cultural difference between Gibraltarians and Spanish people, and although there were interesting economic and political ones. But with the advent of Franco and his regime, increasing border restrictions, a series of processes come into play. At that time also there was the evacuation to the United Kingdom and other parts of the British Empire during the Second World War. So, but that I think is probably exaggerated in its long-term effect. Much more significant we're finding is that in the 50s and 60s, people are still very much Spanish-speaking, but they are having more and more difficulty crossing the border. The border is becoming much more significant. Then when Franco finally closes the border in 1969, and there's no communication, there's no telephone link, there's no possibility of walking or driving across a border, that has a very, very large effect. There's a reaction against Spanish, what is perceived as Spanish aggression, and people become much, much more English-speaking. This is compounded by the fact that more and more people are studying in the United Kingdom, and you get a situation today where Gibraltarians feel much more British and are much more Anglophone than has ever been the case in their history.